There is a lot of talk about operation theaters, and because of NABH, a lot of operation theaters have been broken. What do you think? Operation theaters and this four zones and three filters, is it helping? Is it reducing the surgical site infection, or we are just doing it for the accreditation sake?
Operation theaters, as all of us know, is a very, very high-risk area as far as quality and quality indicators are concerned. But more important, what I feel is that the operation theater is an area which is very, very necessary as far as patient safety is concerned. And, and in that respect, these aspects are very important. I mean, height of the ceiling or maybe the cycles change may not be very, very necessary to that extent that NABH goes into it, but a lot of other things are essential, especially when you take care of super specialty OTs, laminar flow, making sure of sepsis, hand washing, etc. So yes, OT I think is an area which needs to be definitely kept under close surveillance and an important aspect as far as accreditation is concerned.
What do you think, Ajita?
Ajita is smiling on the side, so I know what she's going to say. Can I zip her mouth?
Dr. Maman actually, I think, contradicted his own statement.
So I don't know if we are helping, but we are preparing a lot of confused mass of protoplasms, yes, and yes, they're four of them are here.
That's the whole idea of a debate. Confuse the mass and then try to impose your rule on them.
But I like to ask Ajita, you mentioned about data. And when we go for assessments, we are seeing 140 registers being there. Nurses are extremely possessive about what data they collect. There is so much of raw data. Is it helping in accreditation?
Actually, the volume collected does not directly help. It does not. Any data, if you are not able to analyze it and convert it into a readable table, understandable table, is a waste of time. So it is adding more misery, actually speaking. It makes sense if only we end up collecting meaningful data after deliberations and understanding. But the data collected today is not in that format. Quality sends a form, NABH requires this. No, I don't think any of the staff level people, be it doctors, nurses, anyone who is out in the clinical area, have neither time or patience to actually find out, is this the only way to do this? That is how each form gets added with, wherever we go and give, say, 100 non-compliance. I mean, I have, if you ask me, I have personally now, invented ways to reduce the number of observations, if I admit it.
Don't tell this. Dr. Kalra is listening all this.
I don't mind it anyways. That is why I'm saying it right in front. Because I have realized this, that people have begged, not to write down so much. Why? Because, and I have witnessed people losing jobs. This is no joke. I'm talking truth. Whatever I've said, I never said anything for the sake of it, or I have not lied.
Dr. Kalra, I would like to ask, are we giving accreditation? Are we hand-holding them, or are we just giving it on platter to all of them? What is happening at NABH? Yeah, please.
See, the methodology of assessments involves checking on the data collected. I mean, at least that's something I've always been doing. It's all right, you show me all those nice visualizations of graphs, sometimes a pie chart, sometimes a bar graph, sometimes something more complex. But when we actually look at the data collection sheets, which is where the truth lies, nothing is populated. Which means that people don't even have an idea of what to collect and why they're collecting it. Now, the fundamental statistics sense tells us that you need to define the goal before you start collecting data. Unless, if we are on a fishing expedition saying, let us get all the data in and then let us see what we can do with it, often we don't know what to do with the data we've collected. I would like to give two examples. I'm taking names because otherwise it will it won't look specific enough.
We have almost on the closure.
Yeah. One is Apollo and the other is Fortis. In these two groups, they have, beyond NABH, they have their own internal quality systems. And here, they begin with predefined endpoint for a certain quality improvement process that they've set in motion. Data is collected to support that and is shared every 3 months. And one can see that there, the changes are actually happening because they're using data to implement change. Whereas in many other places, we find data is coming in, no one knows what to do with that, and change is not so apparent.
But that is not the fault of accreditation or the accreditation process. It's
So-
the misunderstanding that
Yeah,
people
can we have a, you want to ask a question, sir? Yeah, please.
The way things are going on, there is data indigestion and information starvation. Is there anything done to come over data to become information immediately so that it can be usefully applied? Anything being done there? Otherwise, what is the purpose of having data?
So, Dr. Girdhar Gyani, I actually don't know what you have created.
Can I add something to it? Say, as you said, registers, data, too many documents is very painful, boring, and we also had the same problem. And last year, 2 years back, we started doing a 5 years processes in our hospital. And the 5 years, the first thing was elimination of unwanted registers. You'll not believe, every nursing station had minimum 30 to 40 registers. We eliminated it. Now we have reduced it to 8 registers only in every nursing station. Beyond that, it is not to be there. And see, we have got a decent IT platform where we have given a lot of inputs. Now, most of the data is keyed in and it is automatically analyzed.
So maybe digitalization could be an answer, but using those data, I think the balance needs to come. And Dr. Murli, how will the balance come?
No, until the analytics are built in.
Because
I
there
don't
is a
think
lot of
data means
documentation and there is a lot of data which is there. Before he gets a mic, one more question is there. Yeah.
I think two things. One is there is enough standard built in the NABH to see how we want to use the data. Now that standard is, you could use it for just for the sake of, as someone said, for addressing it, or you could use it indefinitely. So that is left to the organization. Now added to it, in the new edition, as per some of the indicator, what you are capturing, there have been more things added on and on seeing how effectively you utilize the data. So as all of us know, standards can only give guidelines. It cannot force you to do some things beyond what is minimum, what is required as an optimal level. Now the biggest challenge is that people just collect data, whether it is right or wrong, they just keep collecting and they don't utilize it. So unless you use the standards in spirit and intent, I don't think this is going to.
I would definitely like to, can you pass on the mic to Dr. Kalra? I would like to understand, sir, every assessment, every conclave, we say it is not a fault finding mission. Yeah. Every assessor goes with a fault finding mission. Where is the gap in understanding?
Over a year, now over a period of time, a lot of changes are happening. Definitely we know these challenges in respect of the assessments and how the hospitals are behaving, and definitely no doubt accreditation, whether certification logo is there or not, but accreditation process has definitely made an impact on the system and the processes. Absolutely I agree with this. The waste elimination, the wasteful processes, even too much stringent documentation, I also am against that. Whatever minimum documentation is required, that has to be there. And about the data capturing and indicators usage, already we are working, and we have made more clarifications. We are rather defined indicators, and also I'm thinking with the help of you all, and NABH basically works on the feedback and the cooperation from all the stakeholders. And we are going to again rather streamline the data, their definitions. Already in the 4th edition, we have done a lot of clarifications, even in the explanations and especially in the indicators. A lot of changes has been made. And all assessors, time to time, they have been briefed about streamlining the assessment process. And why, once again, I want to highlight, why accreditation process should be focused only on assessments and surveillance visits? Why this horrible experience? It should be something taken as organizational culture is there and should be regardless of assessment process. One should be with true intent and spirit start implementation the standards. And whenever an assessment is there, it should be a delightful experience rather than a painful experience, what has been expressed out number of times. Time is definitely changing. Things are changing. Now the top managements, we can see a change. They are now for accreditation. Their involvement is increasing. And even clinicians' engagement, and we can definitely, I can say, going by the feedbacks and the reports, and gradually clinicians' involvement is increasing. In the time to come, I think definitely things will be better by way of through accreditation, the whole organization culture attitude for better patient safety care, safe care and quality, I expect that.
So we'll have Dr. From Caritas, Consul, can we have just, because he has not asked, but before the mic goes to him, I would like to ask Dr. Gyani also, we all keep on saying we are raising the bar, but in Kerala bars are only getting closed, but which bar are we raising?
Okay. Of course, I was expecting a very interesting debate. To some extent, I did experience thanks to Ajita. But
You were looking for provocation.
it is very difficult, because Ajita is in it for the accreditation. So she tried to really create a scene, but at the end of it, she also came to the other side. Yeah. But anyway, I think that you have to understand that accreditation has been designed on the fundamental principles, structure, process, and outcomes. Now, structure here means systems. Now, the problem of different hospitals which we are facing is basically how do you design a system? You see, many of the hospitals tell me, I have designed my system for the NABH. My hospital is running as per the NABH. I think I would like to correct it. You should have your unique system. Each hospital should have a unique system of its own. Only difference is that you must address NABH requirement into your system. Now, how intelligently you design the system so that it becomes an enjoyable experience, what Kalra was telling you. If you're not designed the system intelligently, it will create ruffles and many doctors and nurses will keep on finding the problems. So I think that is what precisely I will tell you, we keep doing it at NABH. The edition 1 to edition 4 is a journey. In fact, some of you who have not seen the NABH now edition 4, edition 3 was edited by me, and NABH now 4 is with the Kalra. You will find hell of a lot of difference again we have made. So that is where your journey, we are trying to make it as simple as objective. So I think the question finally I would like to tell you is that whether you engage consultant or you do it yourself by understanding the standard what Lalu was telling you, you have to design the system in such a way. That's why you should take time, not for per se only working system as per the NABH standard. So I think once you design the system intelligently, I think it will start becoming enjoyable experience. And unless it adds value to the patient, it adds value to the individual employee, I think NABH, that means, is not serving purpose in your case. So make it an enjoyable experience, and that's what we are doing in through edition 4.
We'll have the last question, sir, before we close.
I'm Dr. Bobby Abraham. I'm both a clinician and an administrator in a hospital in Kottayam, Caritas, which got accredited last year. We are a 62-plus-year-old institution, so you can't call it a greenfield project. We had to make a lot of changes over time. But one thing that we have to all realize is we should not be frightened of NABH. That from the management level down to the, say, the security, that concept has to be there. We should not be frightened of this thing, but we should be frightened of lack of quality. And we build for quality, and that is what my director told me. don't do it for NABH. If at all we do, whether we get NABH or not is not the problem. But we should be a better hospital for our patients, for our staff, and for the environment. At the end of the process, getting NABH is not the issue. When fighting for quality and changing quality, we have to address different strata, different people in the institution differently. For doctors, it's not probably lack of knowledge, it's lack of attitude, change of attitudes. For nurses, probably, you have to make them understand more. They don't understand why it's. The fourth class staff, or say the Chechimars, Chetamars, they do it, and they do it much more willingly than probably the doctors and nurses. But we have to educate them also, and why they also benefit from accreditation. So accreditation, change in quality means a lot of different things for different people. Overall, most of all, I think the leader at the top has to drive it.
Right.
Thank you.
Can we have this lady who had been very aggressively wanted to say something? Yeah.
Yes.
We'll end it with you.
Sir, I think as we all know that the majority of people who are applying for accreditation are ophthalmology hospitals, and I happen to be the first ENABH accredited eye hospital. We are in Bangalore, and I go to various ophthalmology conferences and I say ENABH is the Ola in ophthalmology. It really has made a lot of difference in my practice. I have a 1-year experience with implementing ENABH, and it is fantastic. I give a small anecdote. In fact, I show a clip of the movie Life of Pi, wherein which, like how Pi was so afraid of the Royal Bengal tiger, Richard Parker, and at the end he realizes that it was Richard Parker who saved his life. So I say Richard Parker is NABH. With due respect, sir.
So let's find out where is the Richard Parker. But now I would again like to take a vote. How many of you think accreditation is making a change? Oh God, so the debate has completely failed. I think we basically wanted to have many provocative items here. They were these, Ajita and Dr. Mohan was almost very prepared. But since they still want to continue with the assessments and they don't want to lose the job, and I don't know whether their directors are also here, so they want to be very, very positive. But let's end on this note, what all stalwarts have said. Thanks to NABH for taking this journey from 2005 onwards. We have seen huge difference in training, in patient satisfaction, in issues with respect to clinical outcomes. There are lots of work which needs to be done, and I hope you all take it in a good intent, and hope this brings in a lot of quality within the healthcare system. So I thank Dr. Abraham, Captain Ajita, Dr. Manivannan and Dr. A. Mohan for this participation, and I thank you all for listening. Thank you.